You'd think that after 20 years in the military, after 10 deployments, 5 continents, and more sunrises than I can count watched through the dust of places most people only know from headliness, you'd think I'd be done with battles, that I'd come home to peace. And for a while, I thought I had. 10 acres of quiet high desert in northern Arizona. Not much around but cactus, juniper, and sky. No neighbors within shouting distance, no streetlights, no noise but the wind and the coyotes. It was the dream, my sanctuary, my reset button. I put up a steel fence around the property, motion sensor lights, solar cameras at every corner, and a long winding dirt road that was mine and mine alone. Every inch of that land was verified by topographical surveys, GPS maps, and dusty, original deeds I kept locked in a fireproof safe. No HOA, no drama, just the kind of stillness that doesn't ask questions and doesn't care for answers. Then one day, the peace cracked. It started like most nightmares, quiet, polite, and wrapped in an envelope. A letter showed up. Fancy logo in the corner. Earth-tone fonts. Looked like an invitation to a wine tasting. Instead, it was a multi-page notice from a group calling themselves the Desert Bloom Community Association. They were building a new development, eco-conscious, wellness-integrated living, or some such nonsense right up against my southern property line. And apparently, my fence, the one I'd built 3 years earlier, was now considered a visual aggression against their community aesthetic. Their words, not mine. They wanted me to remove it. Voluntarily. Within 14 days. Or they'd escalate the matter through appropriate channels. I called the number. Got a woman named Beverly Klein on the line. Voice like someone who's been sipping cucumber water since birth. She introduced herself as the chair of the Aesthetic and Harmony Committee. I told her politely that I don't give a damn about her committee and that my property wasn't under their jurisdiction. Her tone shifted fast from sugary concern to thinly veiled threat. Something about cooperative perimeter covenants and local harmony clauses. I told her I wasn't buying what she was selling. I emailed her scans of my deed, the zoning maps, the county's land use declarations. She replied, "We prefer to resolve matters in person." I didn't think much of it at the time. Figured it was a bunch of HOA folks puffing themselves up. I'd seen worse. I was wrong. I left town for 3 days. Quick trip to Flagstaff to pick up some equipment and meet a contractor about solar upgrades. When I came back, the gate was hanging off its hinges. The ground was torn up like something had plowed through. I saw the backhoe before I saw anything else. Still idling. Still hot. And next to it, 2 guys in vests holding clipboards, looking like they were trying to disappear. I asked what the hell they were doing. One of them mumbled something about partial demo order from the Desert Bloom HOA. I asked who signed off. He pointed uphill. That's when I saw her. Beverly. Standing on the ridge in a wide-brimmed hat and expensive sunglasses like she was surveying a battlefield. She was smiling. Waving. I walked straight up to her with my phone recording. She didn't flinch. "Oh, Mr. Garvey, didn't expect you back so soon." I didn't answer. Just called the sheriff. They showed up 20 minutes later. I showed them the footage. The deeds. The GPS boundaries. One deputy looked like he was trying not to laugh at her. The other one told the crew to stop all work immediately. Beverly said they were acting in the interest of community aesthetics. I told her if she so much as touched my gate again, I'd file for a restraining order. That night, I watched the surveillance footage. She'd walked the crew around with a laminated HOA map, pointing where to cut. Not 1 inch of that fence crossed into their land. Not one nail. I sent everything to my lawyer. He called me before sunrise and said, "This isn't a civil thing, Nate. This is criminal." That's when I decided to stop reacting and start planning. The next week, I was scrolling tax auction listings habit from my old days flipping land and saw a parcel up for sale. 10 acres. Ugly land. Barely usable. But it sat right between Desert Bloom and the only county road out to the highway. They didn't own it. Nobody did. Owner defaulted years ago. Starting bid? $12 grand. I bought it through an LLC. Nobody could trace it back to me. The title cleared in 9 days. County records stamped and clean. They didn't even notice. 2 weeks later, I started building. Not a fence this time. A wall. 8 feet of concrete. Reinforced. Legal. Zoned for mixed use. Ran the entire width of the new property. I had a private crew come in from out of town. No local chatter. Paid in cash. No permits needed for perimeter walls in unincorporated zones. When Beverly showed up, she had a man with her lawyer, maybe, or just someone in a tucked-in polo trying to look important. I met them at the edge of the wall with a coffee mug in one hand and a printed zoning ordinance in the other. "It's legal," I said, "and permanent." Beverly was seething. She accused me of hostile design, of isolating their residents, of sabotaging community flow. I smiled and said, "Hostile is sending a bulldozer onto someone else's land. This is just concrete." The wall blocked their only direct road access. Now, to get out, they had to drive 4 extra miles over hilly, unpaved terrain. Technically legal, but a daily nightmare. The complaints started pouring in. Noise, dust, visual obstruction. The HOA tried to get an emergency injunction. Denied. The zoning was tight. The construction sound. And I wasn't even listed. The LLC owned everything. Then came the night. For silhouettes on my surveillance feed. Hooded. One with a rotary hammer. Another setting up a generator. They weren't curious. They were there to break. I called the sheriff. They showed up in 15 minutes. Took them down clean. One of them was Beverly's husband. They tried to spin it as a restoration effort. Said they thought they had community rights. The sheriff didn't buy it. Neither did the court. The charges stuck. Trespassing. Property damage. Conspiracy. The judge wasn't amused. Fined them. Put Beverly's husband on probation. And barred the HOA from any contact with me or the land. But I wasn't done. I hired a muralist. Big wall. Big letters. Private means private. Trespassers pay. And right in the center, a cartoon of Beverly sunglasses, clipboard, and a jackhammer bent in half. People loved it. Went viral. Radio did a segment. Reddit made it front page. And one day, a woman from Desert Bloom walked up with her daughter. Said thank you. Said the wall gave them permission to finally push back. Later that month, I hosted a cookout. Burgers, beers, lawn chairs. People came from both sides. Even a few ex-HOA members showed up, sheepish but smiling. Turns out, sometimes the best way to bring a neighborhood together is to build a wall right through it. So what do you think? Was I justified? Was it revenge or just standing my ground? Tell me in the comments. And if you've ever had an HOA nightmare of your own, I'd love to hear it. Because sometimes, justice doesn't wear a robe, it wears concrete boots and a fresh coat of paint.